wrinkles.
What about wrinkles and smiles?
So smiles, we use what is called filler, dermal filler. It's hyaluronic acid. We just inject it under the skin and it plumps up the area. So most of what the perception people have when you mention those things are what you've seen on TV when people are overdone or they've had plastic surgery and so on. With aesthetics, it's very subtle. Most people can't even tell you've had something done. They just know you look better. So a lot of my clients, especially female ones, if they're gatekeeping a little bit, they'll say, no, I'm amazing. Like they tell if someone asks, you look so good, they'll say, no, I'm amazing, no, I'm amazing, exercise or robale. But they know I've injected a little bit
It's
here
a little
and
bit
there.
more, yeah.
Yeah, so it's very
They keep
subtle.
it to themselves.
So there's a difference between aesthetics and dermatology. Anything that I feel is pathological or sickness of the skin, then I refer for further assistance.
So it's mostly just people saying their confidence levels are going up.
Absolutely, that's the biggest indicator that they're happy. From female, even male clients that I thought were reserved and they stuck with the program. So I give you a 5-month plan. For example, you do 1 treatment per month. By the 5th month, it's like a different person. And you go, hi doc, I'm just like, oh, I thought he was a shy person, So I don't know if it's the initial consultation that's a bit maybe people are reserved, but they really come out of their shells once they start to feel and look their best.
This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. Always a delight, a pleasure, and a privilege to bring you yet another entrepreneur and share a few insights into what it takes to succeed in this field of entrepreneurship. Let me ask you right at the outset to strike that notification bell, to hit that subscribe button. Please, we need it. As if our entire life depends on it, because it does in the space of social media and in the social media curation and content creation. You require those likes, you require those subscribe buttons. Please, it means a lot to me. Do that, please. Another shameless plug: Momp Nuggets of Grit, my book, is available from exclusive books at Airport Junction. Only 350 pula. Alternatively, you can come and get the book from me here at Mogobe Plaza on the first floor. Thank you very much. You can also reach out to us on 397-1368. Thank you so much for watching. Let me welcome Dr. Wedu Somolekae.
Hello, Dumelang.
I'm so honored that you've eventually been able to make it. Just a little backstory: we met at an event, and it just took off, and I felt that I needed to have you on the podcast.
Yes.
And it took a couple of months for that to become a reality. So welcome. Do you want to start with the academic background and a little bit of what your CV has for us?
Sure. Thank you again for having me on the podcast. My name is Dr. Wedu Somolekae. I'm born and raised Mogaborone, but I'm from Serowe. I started schooling Pakalane Primary. That was from standard 1 or 2 up to 7.
Wait, there was a Dr. Somolekae who taught at the university at some point. Any relation?
Who taught there?
Yeah.
A female or male?
Female, yeah.
Probably, but a distant one.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So from there I went to Rasirura, which is a school in Muchudi, for my junior secondary, Form 1 to Form 3. And then finally I ended up at St. Joseph's College for Form 4 and Form 5, where I finished my BGCSE and went on to qualify for pre-med, Ko University of Botswana. And I did my Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery there. Actually, with my group, that was the last group before me. that was the last group they sent abroad. We were all hoping to go Komahatsing, Australia and Trinidad and all of those, but with us, they said we're not doing that any longer.
Because we
but
have
it was
our
still
own
fine,
university.
yes, and it was a really great experience, Moyubi. So I did my MBBS there, graduated in 2017. And then from there, I did my internship more Princess Marina Hospital. It's a great experience. And then I was sent to Masunga Primary Hospital, where I worked for 2.5 years. And that's where I actually discovered aesthetic medicine and decided to pursue that path. And I did my training in South Africa. What's interesting about that time of my life is the reason I went into aesthetics is there's a lot of pressure around medical doctors to specialize. So by the time I got to Masunga, I was already like ready with my books. Like I want to become a pediatrician or something. I need to prepare for the next stage in my career. But I was very anxious. Something in me wasn't settled about that choice. And so I decided to give the books a break and just listen to my soul, if you can say that. And on a trip to Johannesburg with a friend of mine, she had an issue with her skin. She decided to visit an aesthetic clinic. And I was like, where are you going, friend? And so she did that. And I was like, what is this? I had never heard of it before. And something in me came alive. So I came back home and I was like looking it up. What is this specialty, if I can call it that? And while in Masunga, I made the decision that this is what I want to do instead. And so I started preparing to pay for the courses in South Africa. COVID hit while I was there.
While you were in SA?
While I was in Masunga.
Masunga,
actually.
okay, yeah.
And the challenge to get the training became immense because now I couldn't cross the border for the training. And obviously the pandemic also had its implications in the health sector. Masunga, no PPE, there was a lot going on at the time. But it increased my determination to say this is actually something I really want to do. So in order for the school I was attending to stay afloat, they sent us messages like, when the pandemic is over, when you can cross, you can do this course, but pay now for half price. So all the courses that I thought were so expensive now were like, okay, in the meantime, while we're in lockdown.
But they wanted you to pay the full amount.
No, so they were discounting it to give us incentive to pay for our courses because they needed business.
Yes.
So I was like, great. And I picked all the courses I wanted. I saved up and I was like sending money while we were in lockdown. So as soon as the borders opened, packed my bags. I was just crossing constantly just to attend these courses.
So you'd attend there, once a month or once a week?
Once a month, sometimes after 2 months, sometimes I do more than one in a single visit. So the trainings would be a couple of days to a week. So I could be in Joburg or Pretoria for 2 to 3 weeks just attending all my training.
Wow.
Yes, and so eventually I completed.
So
and
what
then
does
I
it
came.
involve really? What aesthetics is? What does it involve for a layperson? Can you simplify it?
Yes, I can. So aesthetic medicine is all about cosmetic enhancement. It's basically making yourself look better so you can feel better and present yourself as your most confident version of yourself. So it's non-surgical procedures that help with skin tone and texture, with issues like oiliness, pores, acne, as well as aging, so Botox and filler.
It can help somebody not to have a...
Exactly, yes. So we target anything that you feel perhaps if we could improve it, you would look better and be more confident.
Does it imply tightening or
that is
diet
one of
and
the
whatnot?
Yes, of course. So in terms of skin, it's skincare products as well as procedures such as chemical peels, microneedling, which are a step up from your regular facials. So we use very active ingredients on the skin and you get very satisfying results as compared to your everyday procedures.
When you say microneedling, isn't that painful?
No, so it can be, but I use numbing cream. So we numb your entire face, just like when you go to the dentist and a tooth is removed and you hardly feel it. We do it on the face as well, so you
So
hardly
you
feel
make women more beautiful and men more handsome. Is that correct?
Precisely. That's a nice way to put it. That's what we strive to do.
Okay.
Yes.
And is there a way of measuring or quantifying success rate?
Yes, actually. Clients differ from the time I meet them and how they present themselves. And once an improvement is seen and they're happy with their results, they walk taller, prouder, even the way they speak to you, nakabona, there's a way they carry themselves when they're happy with their results. So that's the satisfaction that I get.
So which one was tougher, the medical training or the aesthetics training?
Definitely the medical training.
Oh.
Yes, aesthetics for me, at least maybe because I love it so much, I find it makes so much sense. So like everything that's happening in the aesthetic world, I'm like, yes, that should be done. It's easy to understand because of the foundation of a medical degree.
Yes.
Every procedure that we do has a basis in medicine to say, now that you understand the skin, when we say this active ingredient works in this way, it activates these cells, it does this and that, it's very easy for me to understand. And so
there's this idea of Botox, and it there's a bit of a negative rep, a bad rep, because of how it makes people suddenly pout. Do you do the Botox part?
I do.
And how do
administer
you make
Botox.
sure it doesn't go really, really wild?
No. So Botox relaxes muscles. We inject it in muscles that normally, when they're contracted, they cause very strong wrinkles. So I'll give an example with myself. I recently, if you follow us on social media, I got some Botox done on my frown. So when I frown like this, I don't know if you see, I used to have two lines.
Oh.
So when I do this, you don't see
You can't
them.
do this that I'm doing.
No.
Or even if you try.
Even if I close my eyes. That's what Botox does. So even for the forehead, if I do this, if I had lines and I put Botox, when I do this, there are no lines. So it gets rid of wrinkles.
What about wrinkles and smiles?
So smiles, we use what is called filler, dermal filler. It's hyaluronic acid. We just inject it under the skin and it plumps up the area. So most of what the perception people have when you mention those things are what you've seen on TV when people are overdone or they've had plastic surgery and so on. With aesthetics, it's very subtle. Most people can't even tell you've had something done. They just know you look better. So a lot of my clients, especially female ones, if they're gatekeeping a little bit, they'll say, no, I'm amazing. Like they tell if someone asks, you look so good, they'll say, no, I'm exercise or but they know I've injected a little bit
it's
here
a little
and
bit
there.
More,
yeah, so it's very
they keep
subtle.
it to themselves.
Some.
Yeah.
So it's a very subtle enhancement. You will
but
never.
But you are here to break the secret now, to say, look, people are coming from me.
Yes. A lot of.
Are you one of the few aesthetic clinics in Botswana, or
yes.
are the only one?
So I'm the only one who's doing aesthetics only in my practice. So there are a few others who complement their dental or GP services with a few aesthetic procedures, whereas Mediglow Aesthetics is fully dedicated to aesthetics from morning till night time.
Why did you decide to specialize like that?
The love and the passion I had for it, for sure, like going for the training and all of that. You know, if you're attending a workshop and you're kind of bored and you're just seated there, that's not what I felt. When I went for the training, everything excited me. Like some people would wonder, like, what's wrong with her? Because I'd come all the way from Botswana for this, you know. So when I was like, all the things I was
like me
learning.
When I did my diploma in property, I drove all the way to, I used to drive all the way to Wits University, and just for a class on a Wednesday, and then sometimes come back the same night.
Wow.
It used to be fun.
Yes. So someone would find that tedious and be like, what are you doing?
I would drive all those distances.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the passion for it was really great. But also when I resigned from my job in Masunga and came to Gaborone, I had gone to a few GP practices and said, look, I have this skill. I really like to put it into practice in your practice. If you have a room for me or something, I can be offering that service. And no one was interested. So that pushed me to say, well, if you truly still want to do this, then perhaps you need to start it for yourself. Yes.
Okay, so I think the question that comes to mind also on that topic while I'm signing these, what am I even signing? Just 1 second.
No problem.
Is to, where was I? Yeah, I was going to ask you about aesthetics in general. You've already explained why you wanted to specialize. Now it's time to shine. I'm interested in you sharing your successes and your triumphs without necessarily mentioning names.
Okay, so one of the biggest successes that also propelled me forward was the response when I started. At the time, I was working out of a single room in village, and I was trying to put out information on social media, let people know what around. I didn't have the biggest budget because I was just using my severance from the job I held before. So boosting and all these methods of advertising were not really at my I wasn't. So I was just designing posters on Canva and posting them on my social media pages. But within, I think it was about 4 or 5 months, we were able to move to a bigger space. And so for me, that showed me that there is a gap that I'm filling and that people are definitely interested in what I have. Even though in the beginning it was slow, it started to pick up quite nicely. So that's some of the success I've had. Also, that story that I've described helped to gain recognition to the point where I was the first female on the Forbes Africa 30 under 30 list.
Tell me about that. That must have been very exciting.
That was extremely exciting. I couldn't believe it. I had met a previous lister. His name is Newman from Native Events. He visited the clinic and he said, how old are you? And I told him, and he said, listen, there's this thing, if you're interested, just sign up for it and see if they'll take you. So I nominated myself and I went through the processes. So there's actually a lot of processes behind getting on the list. And so I went through all of that and I held my breath. I was hoping, and I got the call and they said, come through to Joburg. And I got there and there was only 4 or 5 of us, and I ended up on the cover even. Not just listing, but they said the story is amazing, this is great, you're even on the cover. So it was a validation I sort of also needed to keep going, just that recognition. So it was just an amazing
Did it translate to the cash on the register?
I think it really gave me a lot of exposure. I will say that, and not only in terms of shining light on the clinic and on myself, but the people I had access to after that. Previous listers or listers now from all over the continent, just hearing their stories and also getting encouraged by what they're doing in their respective fields was also quite beneficial for me. In terms of sales and getting clients, that one was more still on me to keep putting myself out there, because that recognition is known by certain people, what Forbes is and the under 30 list, but some people have no idea about it. So you still have to push your business and what you're doing. Yeah.
Now, without mentioning names, tell us about the successes from the point of view of the clients, what you did for them.
It's the bulk of my clients are skincare clients. So a lot of them, it's called Mediglow Aesthetics. So they do say, "Kya glow." So that for me is very satisfying to see someone go from, oh, I have problematic skin, to it's
What
really
would have
great.
been the original situation?
Whether it's acne or pigmentation, as well as anti-aging, so for wrinkles, feeling like your skin is dull or lifeless, or feeling self-conscious. I have clients who work in front of people all the time, whether it's a bank teller or in sales or advertising. So that self-consciousness you feel makes you feel like on your skin, you think that back answer that thing.
Yeah.
And so once it's better, then you can present yourself for what you're saying more confidently.
Yeah.
So that's always great. It also translates to their friends coming. So a lot of people saying, oh, so Mama came and she looks amazing, so she told me. So Mama came. So those referrals are also quite amazing. I also do some body work, so with weight loss and stubborn fat. So even the confidence that comes, like, look, this used to fit me when I was such and such an age or at a certain stage in my life. After I had kids, now I was a size up, but I loved this top, and now Bona, it fits. That's always a nice.
So what work do you do on the body reduction side?
So
Size reduction.
So in addition to a healthy lifestyle, that's always something I emphasize. You do have to eat well. You do have to try and be active. But I offer lipolytic injections, which are fat dissolving. Lipolytic. So fat dissolving injection for areas of stubborn fat, such as the tummy or like the arms and so on. We also have an IV drip that targets appetite suppression and increasing your metabolism. So if you're exercising, you lose weight faster. Yes. So that's some of the body stuff that we do.
Okay. So it's mostly just people saying their confidence levels are going up.
Absolutely. That's the biggest indicator that they're happy. From female, even male clients that I thought were reserved, and they stuck with the program. So I give you a 5-month plan. For example, you do 1 treatment per month. By the 5th month, it's like a different person. And you go, hi, doc. I'm just like, oh, I thought he was a shy person, So I don't know if it's the initial consultation that's a bit maybe people are reserved, but they really come out of their shells once they start to feel and look their best.
This kind of assistant used to be available only overseas or in South Africa. So are you finding a lot of people are now doing it locally, coming to you for this?
Very much so. Actually, when I started, the first few clients were a lot of people who said, I've been doing this across the border for the longest time. I'm so happy that you're here now. So yes, a lot of people are staying local now. They're like, you've saved me flights or my bus trip, you've saved me accommodation, all the costs that have to do with going that side for the service. And not only that, networking with South African doctors. Some clients come and say, can I get to Mamang in Joburg? And they said, Mediglow is there, why are you here? They had never heard of me, but then even the doctors that side who I make acquaintance with are able to tell them, listen, that service is thing, you're coming all the way here.
So there's a referral there.
There's a referral as well. And also clients who live Botswana Baba in the diaspora, they come to Botswana and they're like, these services in Europe are 10 times more expensive than what your prices are. So they're very eager to take advantage of their time when they're in Botswana. They're like, okay, let me do this. What's this product? What's this? Can you ship it to such and such? Can you? And so we work something out for while they're here, and then they go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as much as there are successes, there should be in this life, there's setbacks and challenges. Do you want to share some of those?
Definitely. Really, from the very beginning, the biggest challenge I had was it's a fairly new industry, Botswana. A lot of people don't know about it. So just having to explain every single thing every single time, and not giving up if someone is not quite understanding or it's not for them. Just being able to say, okay, maybe not this person, but the next person will know what I'm talking about. Also, all of the stuff I use is not made here. So there's just that cross-border challenge to say, if I'm out of stock, I have to wait 2-3 weeks for something, or if regulations aren't clear about what I'm trying to bring in, they can hold something that I need for. I've had an experience where an order I made for me it was a significant amount at the time, and I had taken that leap of faith to say, no, people will buy. And then that whole box of products was at the border for a month. So I just didn't have stock. My hands were tied. I was running around.
For keeping it there?
The courier I had used didn't clear things in the correct manner, and so it was a BURS issue. But then when they opened what was inside and found my stuff, it also became a BOMRA issue to say, what is this, cosmetics, so there was a lot of clarification that needed to be made and some fines that needed to be paid for things to get across.
Is it a heavily regulated profession or area?
I would say so, in the sense that it is medical, but on the beauty and cosmetic side, there's a very blurred line there, because there are beauty spas in Botswana. There's other people who carry cosmetic products, so mine aren't necessarily, they're medical grade, but they're not prescription as such. And so the regulation does exist, and they do invite stakeholders, the regulators, to come and kind of give their 2 cents as to which direction they can take. But after that incident, I was able to do things more smoothly. Yes.
It's very, very interesting. Has funding been a challenge?
I don't want to say it has. I haven't sorted out actively.
I'm asking you because the typical entrepreneur would talk about challenges associated with funding.
I'm very careful about seeking funding. For me, it's about timing. For now, we've been able to kind of survive without seeking any major funding. And in the future, because I would like to expand. I have dreams of adding more services. I'm trying to do my research in terms of the best ways to get funding. I have been to CEDA once. There's a lot of paperwork, but I don't think they're opposed to it. So there's the Konale Mananeo for Botswana. I haven't explored them fully, but I believe at the point that I do, because of the way I'm researching it, I should be able to convince someone to invest in what I'm doing. Yes.
There are those who've argued that this thing about looking good or being confident about your looks, it's more of a mindset issue. That if you can tackle the mindset, you won the battle. How true is that?
It's 100% true. It's 100% true, because sometimes we're chasing something that goes beyond what you look like. And it's in accepting yourself that when you seek services like mine, it won't be just an endless battle. You will have your point where you say, okay, no, I'm good, I feel good. So once you overcome that and you're able to say, okay, I just like to do this and that, it's easier than wanting to change your entire appearance.
I can't remember the name of the book, but there's a doctor who writes about a book of very beautiful women who feel ugly, and then he would operate on them, and they'll still feel ugly, no matter how beautiful they look. So beauty and ugliness, is it I can't always say it's in the eye of the beholder, but it's more it's a mental construct, isn't it?
It is. It truly is, because I do have instances where someone walks in and I'm trying to figure out before they tell me what the issue is. Sometimes it's right there in front of me, but other times I get shocked because I myself wouldn't have thought it was something to fix. You get what I'm saying?
So my nose is fat, my nose is
and
thin.
I'm just like, wait, what do you mean? You look amazing, you know? So it definitely is in the mind, and sometimes I'm hunting for the things that I'm being told, and I do have to draw the line, you know, being a medical doctor as well, to advise and say, listen, I'm not going to do this
Yeah.
for you because you don't need it. And I know they'll probably go and seek it somewhere else. But I think for me to sleep at night, I also have to be ethical in the way that I do things.
I've also heard of the placebo effect in medicine where doctors give a sugar pill and somebody is healed. Don't you sometimes have to resort to that, to giving somebody just something very minor and then they convince themselves that they're okay?
With physical appearance, not really. There's nothing quite placebo. Yeah, I haven't had to do that for anybody.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to me about your heroes and your sheroes. Who do you admire? Who are your mentors? Talk to me about that subject.
So a very big part of my life obviously has been my parents. They're two people that I truly, truly admire. They're not in the entrepreneurial space, but when I did decide to quit my job in Masunga, a stable job as a doctor, and come to Gaborone to do something most people have never heard of, the general response from people who weren't close to me was like, oh, what is she doing, And they had their reservations, of course, and their skepticism, but they were very supportive from the onset. And their work ethic in how they do things is what helped me also say, this is what I'm doing and I'm going to have to work hard at it. And just the general advice they give me and how they carry themselves in their daily life is something that, resonates with me. Just liboto, just how to speak to people, how to carry yourself, even in the face of maybe negativity and even with positivity, not to get too big-headed, Just, they're very relaxed people who, teach me to be humble. Also within the aesthetic space, some of the doctors I've met during my training who've advised me very well or who've shared with me what they're doing in their practices. So when you first start out, you're just lost and you do need some guidance, especially when sales reps start coming at you and they're aware that you exist. Every other day it's an email, oh, buy this, do that. And you could end up trying everything and losing out. So just those who are able to say, no, look, this brand is really good. Do this, I suggest this. I don't always take everybody's advice, but their willingness to share that for me, I'm like, that's also how I want to be as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anyone in the field that who you really look up to, like a specialist?
There's a couple, but some I haven't even met. I just follow them on social media. Especially the ones who love to teach. So there's always a webinar every other day. There's always this, like Dr. Tim Pierce in the UK. Also Dr. Chris Giesing. He's one of the trainers from the academy that I attended. I think they do marvelous work.
How have they enhanced your work and your career?
Especially in terms of injectables like Botox and filler, those aren't to be taken lightly. And once you learn the potential side effects and the adverse effects that can happen, you can even be scared to start injecting. And so especially Dr. Chris, he's available on WhatsApp. So when I have a patient in front of me, I can either say, let me consult and I'll come and do this another time. Or if I've done something, I'm like, have a look. Do you think this is like wonderful? Good job, So that encouragement, but also that he'll say, be conservative about this, do this and do that. It's a bit of hand-holding, but, when you're new in something or fairly new, it's nice to have that. And then your confidence builds and you're able to do things on your own. Yeah.
In Africa, do you have such people?
That's who I'm speaking about.
Oh,
he's
okay.
South African.
He's in South Africa.
Yes.
Okay, that's
and
great.
He's done a lot of my training. And post-training, they have that support.
I don't know why I assumed it's in the UK.
I think it's the name, probably.
Yeah.
No, he's South African.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Also, there's Dr. Lani. She's probably a year or two older than I am. She's also doing really well in the aesthetic field in Pretoria. She also was one of those who didn't gatekeep. and was really giving me good advice when I started. I remember sending her a DM on Instagram, Keloko Masunga. I love what you're doing. How did you get to where you are? And I sent that, it was like a template message, copy paste to a couple, maybe like 10 doctors.
Yeah.
And out of those 10, maybe 2 responded, and she was one of them.
Wow.
And that's where I was able to find out where to do what. So she's been very, very instrumental.
This
and
is very good.
very
It's very
encouraging. Yes.
Michael Jackson had a thing. Was it called vertigo?
Vitiligo. Yes.
Do you assist with that? And how do you... First, what is the condition, and how do people like you help with that?
So it's basically, we have melanin, like the pigmentation. So with them, some areas of their bodies don't produce that pigment, whereas others do, if I can just explain it like that. With aesthetics, it's cosmetic. It's not pathological. So meaning I don't deal with disease. So the skin can be an issue of just the skin tag, like dikakan, or it can look more aggressive, like a melanoma. So anytime I'm assessing someone,
Melanoma means cancer.
means cancer, yes. So I make that assessment. If it's something that I can assist with, absolutely. If not, I refer to a dermatologist. So there's a difference between aesthetics and dermatology. Anything that I feel is pathological or sickness of the skin, then I refer for further assistance. It's more the beautifying part.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can't patch up with aesthetics, like apply makeup or something.
What do you mean?
When certain area.
Vitiligo?
Yeah.
I mean, no, we don't pigment. So if it's hypopigmented, like it doesn't have melanin, no, we can't patch it up in that manner.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Right. What are the medium-term plans you have for your surgery and for your business and for yourself?
I would definitely...
Medium-term is 3 to 10 years, sort of.
To 10 years. I would definitely love to expand, to grow in terms of the space physically that we're in, a bigger space, more modern space. And in terms of the services, expand the services that we have on offer, and kind of put an end to people saying, oh, I went to South Africa for this. I want to be able to say, oh yeah, we have that. Yes, we have that. Yes, just have everything that Botswana need, and probably even attract Southern Africa. Maybe once in a while someone will say, oh, I came from South Africa for this. I came from Namibia or Zambia, that's the vision or the dream. I'm also interested in cosmetics, as in products, so the skincare
like Dr.
products.
Gure type of thing.
Yes. Medical grade skincare. I've seen it work wonders. It's very, very effective, and I would want to develop a brand of my own.
Did you go to the point of manufacturing some of the products yourself?
Having my own brand. Yes.
Wow.
That's what I would love to do.
Okay. Long term? By that I mean 10, 20 years.
So in medicine, right, although we're referring to aesthetics as a specialty, in most parts of the world it hasn't reached that status yet. It's just the UK that recently this year recognized medical aesthetics as a master's course and considered a specialty. So I'm excited for that, and I'm hoping that in the years to come it will be in that category, even in Africa. And then that's when I will specialize, because people often ask me, don't you want to do dermatology? Don't you? I'm like, they're different. I don't want to deal with ailments. I'm on the cosmetic, the beautifying side. I'm very clear about that. And so
it's your niche.
I love it, yes. So I would want to specialize in it, or go further in my education in terms of aesthetic medicine. And on a more personal side, family is very important to me. Like I spoke about my parents and the example they've shown me. I would like to also, I do have a little baby girl, but I want to grow the family as well. So that's also why the niche suits me so well. I didn't see my life being in the hospital all day, all night, on call and all of that. I really do value spending
Yeah.
time at home with my family and taking care of, not that others don't, but this is how I've chosen to do
understand.
things. Yes.
So there could be a number of surgeries opened or practices open doing this all over what? Botswana, all over Southern Africa? Is that what you're thinking of?
Absolutely. Another branch would be amazing. I have a lot of clients from the Palape, Francistown, Pigwe area. I'm looking into seeing what I can do for them because they're very loyal. They will come without fail. Even sometimes better than those who live more Gaborone. You know, Saturday morning, kebao, they're like, or, you know, I just drove. And so I would love to sort of extend the services to some
To
of those
them.
areas.
That may require training other experts
Yes.
in your field,
Yes.
which is always risky because they can open
For them.
them for themselves. But
Yes.
it's a risk you're willing to take.
Yes, I think there's a way to do it in such a way that, well, for now, my thing is I'll probably visit that branch once in a while.
Yeah.
If there is someone passionate enough to take it over, we can work something
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
You and I met, I think, at a personal development seminar, and we got a chance to. That's how we started our our association, so to speak.
Yes.
What importance do you attach to that personal development, attending these seminars and conferences?
The utmost. It's so important. Even before I took the leap of faith to come here, I did do a 6-month course on business administration with the University of Stellenbosch. It was distance learning because I have a medical background and I acknowledge that, and it's wonderful, but that's not what's going to help me build a business, you know. Obviously the skill is very important and it's what's needed face to face with a client, but the day-to-day running of a business is not something they teach you in medical school
Or any school for
or
that matter.
yeah.
It seems.
So sharing experiences, learning from others is for me, it's helped a lot, and I continue to have that thirst to hear, like, how did you get here, you know, like, what did you do different from everybody else? And those stories can really help shape how you do things in a good way.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important. And I think I've also enrolled in another course. Currently it's a 6-month business course as well, just to try and sharpen those skills. So I encourage anybody who's trying to go into entrepreneurship, whether you're excellent at what you do primarily, you do need some of that to help, you know, have a holistic approach to how you do things.
To keep developing yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk about social media. It's an area where you're fairly active. How does it complement your business, and how do you approach, content curation and creation?
Yeah, social media in 2024 is really where it's at. The more traditional forms of advertising and media are there, but you need to be present in places like your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok. So it's been very instrumental. Obviously, because of the ethics of medicine, there's some rules you need to follow on how you can present yourself online. You can't just, post anyhow, even with brands and all these other things. But it's helped a lot in terms of showing people what we can do. Befores and after are what gives us a surge of clients calling when they see, oh wow, this person looked like this and they look like that. So I'm very careful to make sure that every consultation, with consent, those who allow me to say, yes, you can take a picture of me, and once we get the results, they're very eager, like, okay, share, or they say, no, hide my face, or so on and so forth. But it really helps give people, even if you don't know what I do, just that picture to see, oh, she looked like this, now she looks like this.
Yeah.
Let me call them, maybe they can help me with this. So I really think it's important to stay active on social media. Like I was saying, things like boosting.
Which
as well.
platform?
So we're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok quite recently. And it's not a challenge, but TikTok requires creativity. So I have to constantly scroll and say, oh, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do this. You can't just say, call us today for this. You have to entertain people, otherwise they scroll past. So that's what I'm finding I need to do for TikTok. Just
So you have a content creation person you've hired, or?
I do have someone who's assisting me with that. He's more on he's a photographer / videographer, but he also dabbles in graphic design. So I'm pretty much running it a lot at this point. I have had other agencies approach me to take it over. I'm just a little bit particular on how we come across. So I ask him, okay, I want to do a photo shoot. Can you come on this day? Then we do it, a video on this, or make a poster for me. I wanted to say this, or I give him an example. This is what I want it to look like. So he does the tech stuff for me. And that's where I'm at now. I would at some point want to give an agency an opportunity to assist, but I'm very, very particular on how we come across online. So it's hard to delegate, but it probably would help me have time for other things.
No, it's better to have a creative control over your image and your reputation.
Exactly.
So how often do you post, and why?
So I set myself a target of posting 2 to 3 times a week. It's not always easy because of juggling work, family, home, and all of those. I try to schedule posts. The reason behind posting so much is out of sight, out of mind. I do
actually
believe
twice a week is not so much.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Yes.
Why do we do 7 a day?
7 a day? Okay. It'll take a while to get there.
Because we have different businesses and different interests.
Yes.
So we can't, we have to keep posting.
Yes.
And then I'm including in that also statuses and stuff.
Okay, that's up there.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Perhaps if I had a team, maybe I would do that.
We're fortunate enough to have a team. I think our team is made up of about 8 people.
Okay, no,
including
that's how you
videographers
post that
so,
many times.
Yes.
With just us 2. Sometimes my assistant helps us here and there. But I think getting to 7 would require a lot of dedication and time.
Because it's not just about posting, it's about, shooting the videos, shooting the content, editing, putting it together, one event after the other. There's a lot of work.
There is a lot of work.
Now, what do you think are the soft skills required for one to be successful? Because I teach my mentees, I teach them about the value of death.
The value of what?
The value of death.
Okay.
As part of the J curve, that there's that dangerous part where a lot of businesses fail. Like the first, actually it's roughly the first 3 years, sometimes up to 5 years. So clearly from what I see, you've survived the value of death and you are growing as a business. That terrible part when you don't have customers, you don't have resources, and some people give up. So I'm interested in knowing what soft skills, what mentality you have. I also teach a thing called grit. That's why my book mentions nuggets of grit.
Yes.
What is your business philosophy, and what can you say about that?
I would definitely say passion is a big part of what pushes or drives me. Understanding yourself and what you want is definitely what ultimately led to me pushing through those difficult times. I did have days where there would be no clients for 2-3 days in the week, and I'd just be sitting in the office, trying to create content and so on. But my dream was so real to me that I could almost touch it. I could almost taste it. I couldn't sleep just thinking, wow, it could literally be like this if I put in more effort. So just having that passion is what's driven me to this point. Also, just speaking to people nicely. The first impression always counts. Never take it for granted. People will come barely skeptical what's going on here, and the reception you give them is what's going to say, okay, no, I'm going back to that young lady. Being teachable, open to learn. There's some people who come in with different opinions. You don't just crush them and say, no, I know what I'm doing, I know everything. It's like, I hear you, that's fine. I'll see what I can do in that regard. Networking is also important. Getting to meet people who've gone before you, and having a chat with them, having the guts to say, let's go for a coffee. I know you're busy, but do you mind just coming for coffee with me or something like that, just being aware of the outside and what's going on, and trying to be in tune with that and not being in your box. But no, I know this is
yeah. A lot of people are stuck in that box. I believe in not only thinking outside the box, but I believe in kicking the box so it doesn't exist in the first
place. Break it down. Yes.
Yeah. All right. No, that's very good. If there's one thing that you would want to tell a young entrepreneur, somebody maybe straight out of university or straight out of high school who's trying to figure out what to do and which road to face, and perhaps encouraging them to consider this, what would be the message?
Just that their dreams are valid, or your dream is valid, even if it's something someone else has never thought of, even if it is something someone has thought of and that has been done. There's a way that you can do it that can be better, or that will appeal to people out there. So basically, that don't crush yourself in the dreams that are in your mind that you're not telling anybody about. Be brave enough or courageous enough to come out and give it a try.
Wow. That's very uplifting. I'm encouraged myself. Yeah. As we wrap up, I think here's a chance for you to hit me with one question.
Okay. I have a lot of questions for you, but let me think which one can come now. How I feel our economy is unfriendly. How do we survive, or how have you managed to grow yourself to this extent in this economy?
No, there's a lot of truth to that, but you mentioned the example of COVID. Botswana's mentality pre-COVID and post-COVID is totally different. The entrepreneurial mindset is being cultivated more and more with the coming to existence of the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. And with some of the initiatives around mindset change, I'm beginning to see that there's been a seismic change in terms of the outlook for the average Motswana. We are less prone to being helpless. We are less prone to being dependent, because, I was interviewing Wedu Mayor the other day, and Wedu Mayor was saying we're a bit like crybabies. And I think that is coming to the end. He sees it when it's really drastically reduced. And when you look at the fact that our savings have been depleted, we're constantly being told that our diamonds are also not going to be forever. You see that there's a shift. So we need to push through. Of course, as Botswana, we have to accept that there's a thing called tsele, lihuha. Those are the kind of things that we have to battle with. Sometimes they used to be very prevalent in the civil service, where there's a lot of sabotage, needless sabotage. But even with that, I see, because I get to see what's happening, I get to interview a lot of people, I get to deal with some of these people when I'm invited to a lot of these platforms, I see that there's a shift. So I want to end my question on that positive note, that yes, it's hard, it's tough, you need a lot of grit, but be encouraged that you can push through. You can push through. As long as you don't give up. That's the main thing. I hope I've answered your question.
You have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ezra.
All right. As we conclude, one last time, we look at that camera.
Okay.
You talk to that person watching you, that individual, and leave them with one concluding message.
Okay. So, Dr. Somolekae, Mediglow Aesthetics, Botswana. We do non-surgical enhancement to your physical appearance, and you can find us at plot 21179 in Village, right next to Mondio Hotel. You can reach us, you can call or WhatsApp 71642681, and you can follow us. Please do follow us on social media. On Instagram it's MediglowBW, on Facebook it's MediglowBW, and on TikTok it's MediglowBW. I hope I'll see you at our practice soon, and I hope this interview was encouraging for you if you're a young entrepreneur at home.
All right. Is there a WhatsApp number or a landline?
Yes, it's just the 71642681.
That's a WhatsApp.
WhatsApp and calling.
Okay.
Yes.
Great stuff.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful guest. You've done
Thank
a great
you.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Mr.
Emma,
Mogobe.
Emma.